Where rhythm meets grace and tradition sparks innovation, there lies the power to not just dance, but to tell stories that resonate across generations. And today we are diving into the world of a woman who embodies this power, transforming the ancient art of dance into a beacon of empowerment and creativity.
Since I was a very little girl, as a baby, my mother has taken me with her everywhere. So I grew up in studios, in green rooms, and in the traditional methodology of the Guru Shishya Parampara, where you're around your Guru all the time. I had that. Who walks into a dance school to study dance, they learn so much more.
Yes.
So if you're looking at a studio or institutional scenario, I always tell parents that, you might, when you put your child into a Natya Institute, maybe out of 200 children, maybe 2 will become dancers.
Yeah.
And that's okay. The rest of the 198 will appreciate dance and music and theater. Also became the kind of entrepreneur at 23 who created opportunities for many, many, many dancers to make their living through dance, which Ma did too, of course.
Welcome back to Beyond Her Story on Wonder Woman Wednesday. We are thrilled to have a luminary of the dance world, Madhu Nataraj, a visionary choreographer, dedicated educator, and an enchanting performer. Madhu Nataraj stands as a testament to the transformational power of dance. As the daughter of the legendary Dr. Maya Rao and the dynamic force behind the Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography, she has carved a niche for herself, blending traditional Kathak with contemporary themes to create performances that are not just dances, but narratives of strength, resilience, and beauty. Madhu Nataraj was awarded the Ustad Bismillah Khan Yuva Puraskar of Sangeet Natak Academy for her talent in the field of creative and experimental dance. She is also a FICCI Women's Achiever, Karnataka Stars titled Karnataka Kalashree. Through her art, Madhu Nataraj not only preserves the legacy of her illustrious mother, but also propels it into a future, inspiring a new generation of women to find their voice, their rhythm, and their place on the global stage. This is just a part of Madhu Nataraj's journey. There's much more, so join us as we unfold the journey of a woman who dances to the beat of her own drums, creating waves that ripple through the hearts of those who witness her art. Welcome, Madhu Didi, to Beyond Her Story. And before we start with our conversation, I want to say thank you for joining us today. Your journey and contributions are so inspirational. And I want to thank for having the opportunity to speak with you, which is truly an honor.
Thank you so much, Sneha. An honor and delight for me as well to be here, to speak to women who are both enterprising and generous.
Yeah, I think let's start with the questions right away. Dr. Maya Rao. Now, you've carried forward the incredible legacy of your mother, Dr. Maya Rao, who's a legendary figure in the world of dance. So can you share how her teachings and life philosophy have influenced your approach to dance and mentorship?
Yes, that's a very interesting and very pertinent question. And for me, dance is a warm memory, and I always say, it is probably the umbilical cord between her and me. Since I was a very little girl, as a baby, my mother has taken me with her everywhere. So I grew up in studios, in green rooms, and in the traditional methodology of the Guru Shishya Parampara, where you're around your Guru all the time. I had that. Yeah. And I learned a lot through osmosis, being around her, how she handled a certain situation, how she was with people, how I learned to invest in people from her, and also she would always say that when you give, don't expect anything. So I think that took away that whole equation of, oh, you owe me this or I'm entitled to that. Yeah. And I think that helps also in leading a company. Okay. And of course, the fact that there are no shortcuts to achieving whatever you want to. So hard work, arduous training, and also thinking in the moment were things that I picked up from her.
So Madhu Didi, let's come to the next love, that you have, the Natya Institute of Kathak and Choreography, which is a beacon of creativity and education. So how do you ensure that the institute remains a space for innovation while staying true to its roots?
Well, Sneha, the thing is that I remember my mother would always say that, if today's innovation stands the test of time, it'll become tomorrow's tradition. So I think Natya definitely personifies that, and Natya existed before I was born. So I always tell my mother that I'm your second daughter. Natya is your first, and definitely Natya has always been my home. I don't know whether the first home or my own home is the second home. So I grew up there, as I said to you. And then, of course, I started the STEM dance company, which was my own endeavor. In 1995, we're going to be 30 next year, and Natya is going to turn 60 this year. So when I started that, of course, I was busy building a repertoire and a language. And then I was always there for my mother, but I think from the year 2000, 24 years ago, I started also becoming a stronger pillar of support and being there for her and realizing all her dreams. So Natya has held this philosophy of tradition and modernity coexisting always, right? Yeah. So, and also I think something important to note is in today's times of startups, we are the startup city of India, Bangalore. It is easy to start something, I think, with zeal and verve and all of that. But to sustain is the issue.
Correct.
And we're talking about institutions which are 60 years old, 30 years old. I think the reason they stand the test of time is because there is a lot of volume of work going on, prolific work of quality, and I think in doing that itself, the legacy continues and each project creates a legacy for itself.
Yeah, wow, very well put. And I think in your conversation, you mentioned about, blending traditional Kathak with contemporary dance. So how is it that you balance tradition and innovation in your choreography? And why is it important to keep this dialogue open?
I think one has to realize that tradition continues because it evolves with whatever socio-political, cultural, and in today's times, we have to acknowledge climate realities that we face. Right? So you cannot separate that from your art. And Kathak today is very different from what it was, several hundred years ago. And it is, if you look at Kathak itself, it is a story of resilience from starting, in the temple precincts and then moving with the wandering dancers to moving to the court and also influencing flamenco and then moving to the proscenium stage and film. So, I think a lot of people, purists, seem to think that tradition has to be pickled, and that's not possible. So with my work in contemporary dance, Kathak is definitely one of the, I should say, quintessential streams that inform my work. But the contemporary work also has a language of its own. And it is a vocabulary that has evolved out of many influences, both movement disciplines of India as well as, the ethos of India.
Yeah.
So there is really, for me, I don't even feel like I'm balancing. I have a dual identity as a Kathak and contemporary dancer, and there's always cross-illumination, in the two.
Okay. And your journey in dance is not just about performance, right? It's all about empowerment also. So how do you think that dance and arts can empower women to find their voice and space in society?
Well, that's a great question, because I really believe that, when one walks into a dance school to study dance, they learn so much more.
Yes.
So if you're looking at a studio or institutional scenario, I always tell parents that, you might, when you put your child into a Natya Institute, maybe out of 200 children, maybe 2 will become dancers.
Yeah.
And that's okay. The rest of the 198 will appreciate dance and music and theater.
Okay.
And all of them, anybody who engages in dance, because the spatio-temporality of it, immersion in this somatic practice puts you in the present moment. Every philosophy of the world is telling you that, that be in the present.
Okay.
And when dancing, you know it yourself, Sneha, that nothing else matters, whether you had a fight with somebody or you have a headache or nothing else matters.
Yeah.
So it's a very powerful moment. And also for children, for women, it's a moment to experience complete fearlessness because you're not informed by what happened and what might happen, And I just find that especially when you work with women with movement, a lot of, almost everybody will say to you in India that when I was a child, I used to learn Bharatanatyam or Kathak or Odissi, then I gave up. Life happened. So
Yeah.
I always say it's not too late. Remember you have one lifetime. So come back to it, whether you're 40, 50, 60 or 70.
Yeah.
We can definitely do something. And from body language to who you hold yourself, how you connect to someone, how you the dynamics of energy, all of this of energies, all of this is you become more aware of the moment you engage with dance.
Yeah.
And I have always believed that a sign of good leadership is to create leaders around you, and I feel women make fabulous leaders. And look at Natya itself. It's as a microcosm. It was started by the great Kamla Devi Chattopadhyay and Maya Rao. And you look at all the, the industries, and especially the creative arts industries, they're helmed by women.
Yeah.
And so we do bring something special to this, to any space that we occupy.
Yeah. I think, that thought about being in the now, actually, even I feel, like dance it's a form of meditation because it gets you in the now. So I think that's one thing that many people maybe who don't know dance or who have never been a part of it, they don't realize it. But it's so true. Yeah.
Because they're always like you're in the entertainment industry, entertainment aspect of it. But so we're also in the enhancement industry in a sense,
True.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's not just this, Madhu Didi, you're also a mentor to many young dancers. So what message do you have for young women who are entering the arts, especially those who, may face societal barriers?
So first of all, if you want to get into dance, you have to be a brave soul, because for the longest time, the amount of effort you put in is not going to reap you monetary benefits. So when I got into dance, my mother asked me first before, because I was finishing my degree in commerce. And I said, I want to dance. I want to join the choreography course. And she said to me that, are you ready to choose creative satisfaction over monetary benefits?
Yeah.
And I said, yes, I was ready. So, but having said that, I also became the kind of entrepreneur at 23 who created opportunities for many, many, many dancers to make their living through dance, which Ma did too, of course. And I found newer avenues, whether it was to do more corporate work, whether it was to, populate other spaces in the public domain through dance experiences. And so I want to tell the youngsters that, we are in an age of many, many distractions. So can you make them, spaces that fill this central energy of dance, rather than you getting pulled away from this nucleus of dance, right? Great that there is so much happening, but how do you get yourself to focus again? Yeah. So what I find is that the new generation dancers have great energy. They know how to be flashy. They know how to use time, brevity of time. Yeah. Gone are the days when you sat down and watched 3-hour performances. So definitely the fact that that one has to work supremely hard and put a lot of time, and that time that you put into your art is not wasted in any manner. So please put it in while you're young, because it will hold you in good stead in the later years. Yeah. 2 is to be generous to share your art only if you are of a good standard. There is so much mediocrity going around. I think there is a great need for good artists to start showcasing their work more. Yeah. So that you can sift through it all. And definitely to say that as women, we shall I say, charge a space with a special kind of energy. Yeah. Never to forget that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
I don't have answered your question.
No, answered very well, Madhu Didi. Feeling inspired by Madhu Nataraj's journey and the power of dance to transform lives? We'll pause here, take a moment to like and share this episode, and then let's dive back right into the conversation. Now, Madhu Didi, looking to the future, so what is your vision for the role of women in arts, and how do you plan to contribute to make that vision a reality?
The journeys that each of us women make outside of our homes is a solitary one, especially if you're an entrepreneur. And, the thing is, my vision is basically to say that please populate more and more spaces with experiences,
Yeah.
of the arts, because art heals, it transforms, it empowers.
Yeah.
And to bring a lot of, and also, the moment you dance, for example, or there's a theater performance, it's about the ritual of gathering people,
Yeah.
and I think in today's polarized times, the arts have a big role to play.
Correct.
And especially women, I feel, because they connect so much more to what's happening around us with climate change, with gender inequity, with growing aspirational ideas of women, from tier 1, 2, 3
Yeah.
cities,
Correct.
villages, satellite cities. So I would love to see more and more women collect and have more collectives, and to work towards, a common future.
Yeah. And, when there is so many people involved, there is bound to be competition, and competition can overshadow collaboration. So, like, how is it possible, or how do we foster an environment where women can uplift women, in regular life also and within the dance community? Like, do you have a personal experience where female solidarity has played a key role in your journey?
Oh, yes. I mean, for me, I grew up around very powerful women, and also women who were very generous with their time and, with sharing. And so I definitely believe that women have to empower other women, because, there's this narrative that's been floating out from our mythologies to folk tales to now television serials, where दो औरतें एक साथ नहीं हो सकती हैं. Like, two women can't be together for more than 10 minutes to start fighting, which is so untrue. The fact is that women get together with such a powerful, force,
Yeah.
that it scares people.
Yeah.
You know,
Very true, Madhu.
and this whole thing about women not getting along. I have, I can say this with confidence that in my own space of work or home, it is the women who stand as the strongest pillars of support. They don't have other personal agendas when they start to work with something. It's, whereas I can't say the same about the other genders always. So, yeah, definitely. I mean, hashtag women supporting women is something that I totally believe in. And you will see that I actually live that by example. And
Yeah.
I hope more and more people recognize that.
Yeah. And, like, you've been dancing since, from what age, Madhu Didi?
Like I told you before, dance is a womb memory.
Yeah.
And by the time I was a little girl of 3, 4, I could say complicated padans and all of that. And I had my own version of my dance. Apparently, I would, if unsuspecting guests would be, I would come back out with a jewelry box, put on my jewelry and do my own version. But by the time I was 15, Sneha, I actually stopped dancing.
Oh,
Because I think I was a very independent-minded person, and everybody would say, "Oh, you're, Myra's daughter and MS Natarajan's daughter, so you'll be a dancer or you'll be an artist." And I would say, I wanted to choose that myself, or it's in your blood.
correct.
But so I gave up dance for the next 4, 5 years, and when we moved to Bangalore from Delhi, and while I was in Mount Carmel College, I never danced. I would be in the theater team, in the debating teams, in mad ads, painting, sketching, everything except dance. Then I had a very interesting experience. Maybe we can do another talk about that as to how I got back to dance.
Okay.
But I got back at the age of 19 or 20.
Okay.
That's when I had that talk about choosing creative satisfaction over monetary benefits. So at that time, because I felt I had lost some time, so I used to study choreography in the mornings till 1:30, and then I used to work with a newspaper company which had an education program through the arts, and I would teach in 2, 3 schools in Bangalore. I used to have this kinetic Honda, and I'd be in Koramangala one moment, and next would be somewhere near Makery Circle, and that was the Bangalore where you could do these things within 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Finish that, come to Kathak class, from 5 to 6:30 every day, and then also do evening college for my post-graduation in journalism. So I really, and those 4, 5 formative years, which happened to me post-19, I did nothing else. It was just honing my being to become a dancer.
Okay.
And which is why it brings me back to the earlier question about what, I would say to the younger generation, that unless you put that time in,
Yeah.
it's just the way the universe works.
Yeah.
Do you want to stay mediocre? Then it's okay. But if
Yeah.
you want to be brilliant, if you want to be extraordinary, you need to put in that time. Yeah, so I was a late bloomer.
Completely agree to that, Madhu Didi. Like the effort and the time that you need to put is something which gives it takes you to a different level, basically.
It's non-negotiable.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So, Madhu Didi, they also say that, dance has often been described as a powerful medium for healing and for expression. So, in your perspective, how can dance serve as a therapeutic tool for women who are dealing with challenges and seeking personal growth?
This is very important because, like I said to you, the moment you sign up for a dance class, you're ready to engage with it. It, like I said to you earlier, puts you in a space of some sort of neutrality, from which becomes your germination board of what you're going to do with that.
Right.
And for that moment, you're not thinking of anything else. And as women, we forget to put ourselves in the center of our universe, right? It's always about dropping someone, picking someone, looking after someone else,
Correct.
and earning. And so it's almost like, you're being allowed to go dance.
Yeah.
Or we say to ourselves also, I don't have the time, I wish I could do it.
Yeah.
You can. I remember many of my mother's students who had given up dancing, would meet her, and my mother would say, Ab kya kar rahe ho? What are you doing? And said, Didi, busy with the children, work. I want to dance. So she said, what time do you get up? So they would say 7:30. So get up at 6:30. Just that 1 hour getting up earlier, which I think all self-help books also tell you to do that.
Yeah. True.
Yeah. So the thing is, like I said to you before, and I have been saying again and again, dance empowers you.
Yeah.
And whether you look at it from the angle of strengthening your musculature, your physical body, it's a wonderful way of stacking body, mind, spirit.
Yes.
It is also, you produce great endorphins. You're happier, you're healthier, definitely. But emotionally also, as I said to you, it anchors you.
Yeah.
It brings in your life a kind of stillness, which becomes a great propeller for creativity. Dance therapists, which is again, dance therapy is another trajectory by itself. Work with people with rehab from various sorts of illnesses to emotional, both degeneration and also trauma. So depression, so many things. So the possibilities are endless, and there are specialists for each. There are areas for each of these, but all through somatic experience. So it's supremely healing. Yes.
Yeah. I think, like you rightly said, in this world of distraction, right, where, we see a lot of things on social media as well. One positive thing is, people are being aware of such things now.
Yes.
Probably it's been existing from many years, but people know about it now, right? So I think that is one positive thing about internet and the social media.
Yeah, in a sense. But then what kind of dance do you think most people who are novices are looking at, right? They're again looking at the popular.
Yeah, that's true.
Of film songs and, anything that's flashy that catches your eye. And that's normal, right? I mean, if you're also looking for something on Instagram and something flashy will catch your eye. Whether you engage with it or not is a different matter. But
yeah,
I think there is a lot. There's lots of volume now.
Yeah.
How much of it is quality is the matter.
And what you filter out is what is more important. And watch the right content.
And the ability to discern.
Yeah, true. Very true. I think that's very important.
Definitely, if you've been to a dance or music or theater class in your life, then you know.
Yeah.
The others, I guess, it remains, a responsibility for good artists to go out there and share their work more generously.
Yeah. So, Madhu Didi, personal mantras can be a source of strength and motivation. So, do you have any mantra or philosophy that has guided you in your career and personal life?
Yes, Neha. I mean, I have always believed, and I also say this is also my ikigai. My purpose of life is that to be a creative conduit. I keep having to repeat myself in a scenario, especially if there's a moment of crisis or a moment of whatever, of birthing something new. And I say, I am a creative conduit for limitless possibilities. Repeat that and make sure that you change the scenario in some manner or make something happen. So then nothing seems really impossible. So at least you keep trying.
Wow, that was so deep and so good to hear, Madhu Didi. Actually, I got goosebumps when you said that. Yeah. Okay, so now we'll move on to another section, Madhu Didi, where we want to cover all aspects of what you have done. So, shall we move on to it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, in one sentence, what does cross-cultural collaboration mean to you?
A very potent meeting of energies to create magic.
Wow. And how would you describe the impact of movement arts in the public domain?
I think it's an understated and almost like a undercurrent in public life. The impact is huge, but I think it needs a little more acknowledgement.
And you've also been named as one of the India's 50 Young Achievers. So how did it feel?
That was when I was young, Sneha, which is a long time ago. But
then it is even better, right? When you're young, if you've been named.
Yeah, it felt great.
Yeah.
We don't do what we do for accolades, but when there is an acknowledgement like this, where you're the only sort of dancer in a big milieu of politicians and sportsmen and models and movie stars, it feels really good that you occupy some visibility with the work you're doing.
So, Madhu Didi, which aspect of your diverse educational background, commerce, journalism, choreography, most influences your work today?
Definitely choreography.
Okay.
Because both, it exists in space and time. So whether it is setting a table or designing a syllabus or writing something, I think from the lens of choreography.
Wow. And which of your core values fuel your vision the most? Education, climate action, healing, social equity, or empowerment?
I think I would love to say all of the above, but unless we first look at education as awareness, none of this is going to be possible.
Very true. Yeah. And can you sum up STEM, space, time, energy, movement, dance company's philosophy in 3 words?
Well, as you know, space, time, energy, movement are the precepts of choreography. And the 3 words to sum it up for me is to always stay relevant. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm definitely getting to learn a lot today. So, So, out of the 56 countries that you've visited, Madhu Didi, which one has surprised you the most culturally?
I wouldn't say surprised me, and I would rather say inspired me. Definitely Bali for their dance, music, puppetry traditions. Also, I would also choose Turkey for its various influences. Many. I can't choose one in particular. Also, coming from India spoils you, right? Because
very true. Yeah, very true.
Yeah, but I get inspired very easily. So
I'm very sure because next question is about your you blend performing arts and technology like VR and AI. And this is to address climate change. I mean, who would have even thought about it? So how is it that it comes to you? Like, how do you blend this?
Well, Sneha, we have always worked with, changing technologies and making it part of. So STEM was again the first company way back in 2002 to turn its sets completely virtual with the suggestion of Wendell Rodrigues. And we had use of Oracle's paintings and design for that. Both have passed on, but their work continues. Their legacy continues. And in 2004, did the first interactive multimedia design on the concept of the mandalas. Okay. So the AI came to us because I was asked to mentor a transcontinental cohort training to create pieces for India's first AI art and performing arts festival called Future Fantastic. And they also asked me to create a headline act. So for me also, although one faces AI and one goes and looks at VR art, virtual reality art a lot, for me I had to do a lot of learning myself. And what eventually happened is that we created a work that spoke about climate action and climate change, a very powerful call to action for climate change. Using, again, transcontinental collaborators, like I said, these energies that create a magic. So this piece is called Palimpsest, which is, as you know, as a writer, what that is, and how the earth is humans' most valuable palimpsest, and how the first human footprints have turned into carbon footprints. And also looking at the shrinking green and water cover in our own city as a microcosm for the world. And also eventually look in, because there is so much climate anxiety, we also look at a piece on hope. And for this, we had a video bot who was the Sutradhar. We had AI artists working, virtual realities, mixed realities artists working to create pieces for us. So yeah, that's what it was.
And what's one key insight that you've gained from being a fellow of the Aspen Global Leadership Network?
Oh, that's a good one. Well, I think every time we have an Aspen meet, whether it's in India or globally, you remember that people might look at it as, room full of alpha people, but it is also room full of people who think not only how to grow their own industry, because they're all very successful entrepreneurs and leaders, but they're also people who are working towards the common good, in various realms for the whole of not just mankind, but I would say for the planet, And so for me, every interaction is very, shall I say, not just inspirational, but also a group of people who are always there to support you. So our network, helps us
Definitely
grow.
Yeah, true. Yeah, Madhu Didi. And is there any unforgettable moment from leading a cultural delegation?
Many. But one I will tell you is that Ma would tell us, because she, as you know, had a large part of her training in Russia for choreography. She used to tell us how in the then Soviet Union, the tradition was in Moscow and other places that if you finish one act, and if the audience likes the ballerina or the corps ballet, then the little children would run up and leave bouquets. And by the end of the show, you have so many bouquets to show appreciation. And we were performing in Kazakhstan at an old opera house. And we finished the first piece, and I saw two ruddy-cheeked children, all bundled up. It was cold, coming and giving bouquets. And I said, oh my God, this is happening to us, It was so overwhelming and so touching. And by the end of the show, and we took all the bouquets in, we had a room full of bouquets. But unfortunately, we were leaving the next day to India.
So you can't carry them.
We couldn't take it with us, so we were giving it away. But that is definitely one of a very. It was. I think it is sort of symbolic of the appreciation for the art forms, for dancers.
And I think that's a very nice concept, right?
Yes, I know. Yeah.
Okay, now let's move to something else. Like, what is the most important trait that you look for in your mentees?
I look for commitment. I look for a leaning towards working hard. I look for an open mind, and I look for honesty.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Madhu Didi. I think we have covered, I don't know, whether this interview is enough to cover all aspects of what you've been doing, but I think at least I'm really grateful that, we are having this conversation, because it's not just talking to you about your journey, but there were so many small things which you mentioned, which were like, I would say, nuggets of wisdom kind of thing for me. And I really enjoyed having this conversation with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Sneha. Very kind of you to say all of that. And as I said, I love being here too, and look forward to more interactions.
Yeah, sure, Madhu Didi.
Empowering more women.
Yeah, definitely. That's the agenda.
Sure.
This conversation with Madhu Nataraj exemplifies the power of determination and the beauty of heritage in shaping a purposeful life. We are committed to bringing you more such empowering stories that ignite passion and encourage action. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Wonder Woman Wednesday for more such inspirational content. Thank you for joining us today. Keep chasing your dreams and remember, your story is just the beginning.